wasting bank.
Welcome to Caleb Can't Read. I'm Jordan Rabel.
I'm Caleb Terrence.
I just want to take a moment to thank you for helping me run down a fucking pit bull in the street.
He's a very sweet boy.
He's a very sweet boy. But yeah, we were trying to get some beers for the show, and there was a pit bull just kind of walking around. He was under a year old. He was not neutered. And so it was like, all right, could be a...
Just impressive testicles.
Yeah.
The testicles of a champion.
And truly, the testicles on me to be like, hey, pull over. I'm going to go face this dog down real quick.
You could I could fit 7 of my ball sacks in that ball sack.
It was a dragger. That was something. That was heavy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so long story short, hey man, we saved a life today.
Did we?
No.
It's probably going to be euthanized.
Shut the fuck up. Don't say that shit. That dog's worth a lot of money. But I would like to
saw a stray dog.
I would like to thank the Tigard PD for showing up and then being like, yeah, you could take it down to the shelter. They just have you sign some paperwork. You want me to do that? I mean, I could take him if you're not doing anything. It doesn't fucking matter what I'm doing, guy. Go take this dog down to the pound.
See, one of us is at work right now.
Yeah, and he opens up the back of his car and he's like, all right, go ahead and put him in there. I'm like, dude.
Okay, that part is fucked because
yeah, so Caleb originally had pulled his car up. I'm like, let me just put this dog in the back of your car so that I don't have to hold him down as other dog walkers come around and shit. Let's just put him in the back of your car and wait. And we both looked at each other like, if this dog isn't getting in by himself,
he's not.
Yeah, and he didn't want to, and it's like, all right, I'm not putting my arm anywhere near his huge testicles. I'm not doing that.
Dude, the animal built like that, if it wants to do something, we're not stopping it from doing something.
I know.
If it doesn't want to do something, I am not pissing it off.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at this cop in all of his body armor for the suburbs, and I'm just like, yeah, man, let me go ahead and do it. I'll go ahead and just, luckily, I mean, the dog's just a sweetheart.
Thank you for stepping up and grabbing the pit bull so that we would have time for the podcast. But yeah, it's just hilarious because it's just dude, only one of us is going to get workman's comp when this fucker whips around.
And dude,
tears a cheek off.
I don't have any benefits through my work right now. And I'm just thinking the whole time, I was like, dude, if my arm is shredded, I'm fucked. I'm going home with super glue and a stapler and doing this shit myself. This is fucking stupid.
I use my body for work. If I get mauled by a dog outside of work, I don't work.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, if he bit me in the face, I'd look ugly for about a year, but when it heals up and I look Bond villainish,
it'd be kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, it'd be kind of sick.
Well, actually, the problem would be is when you think about scars and stuff, everybody thinks it's going to be all anime looking, but a lot of times anything that's going to leave a mark like that,
I just look like an Iraq war veteran, yeah.
Well, no, because cuts leave, I guess, aesthetically pleasing scars, but a lot of shit just removes tissue entirely. It doesn't separate it, so then it's the same thing that happens when you get burned. It's just that big old lump of weird shit.
Yeah, the nurse would be telling me so we need to remove your cheek. But only 3 teeth made contact.
Oh,
yeah, but
they do you like my fucking buddy, R.I.P. Well, he's the one I think I've actually talked about on the podcast where if you need to get a skin graft somewhere where the skin is really what do you call it? Different word for stretchy. Anyway,
elastic.
It has a lot of elasticity somewhere. They're gonna use your ball sack skin.
No.
Yeah. So they're gonna take some out your ball sack, and they're gonna put it there. And
why does your beard grow in weird and just
no, straight up, dude. So he on his left hand, where he had this burn from some stupid lighter challenge or something, where everybody was I don't know, it was dumb. But it on his hand there was a patch of ball sack skin that was slightly darker and fucking grew hair.
I don't have a segue into this, but let's
so
get
yeah,
started,
that was a 50-50 roll of the dice for you on whether or not you would have a fucking straight up just...
I didn't mean for us to talk about this for so long because honestly, it was in the middle of me cooking you dino nuggies and some Chardonnay.
Which would have been really funny if you had a ball sack cheek, actually. I should have fucking... Dude, missed opportunity. Should have fucking pissed that dog off.
Just stuck your fingers right in his ass.
That comes later.
Well, a great warrior said to always feed your men. And that is what I have done today with the dino nuggies and the Chardonnay.
It was nice, man. I appreciate it.
Well,
that made it stressful, though, because we did have dino nuggies in the oven while all this transpired.
Yeah, that was the worst fucking time to have your house burned down. Did you fall asleep with a lit cigarette? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Something else manly and adult.
Well,
absolutely.
Actually, so I brought you a couple of things. I'm going to just put your keys on the floor.
Why?
Because I need some room
Your
for...
dog's looking at him. He's going to chew him.
Yeah, she'll fucking put him... She'll put him in her butt.
Okay.
I have made you some visual guides because these names are going to be hard to remember.
Okay, I mean...
So we'll start with this one. All right. Yes, that's Spider-Man. This is a foot soldier from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles missing a foot. This is the bad guy from Small Soldiers. That's the Red Power Ranger. That's Harrison Ford. And let's see. We have Heihachi. This one's a collectible. Don't fuck with him.
Dude, you're putting all these out here with these names like I'm gonna have a hard time. You don't think I haven't played Dynasty Warriors, dude?
Didn't consider that.
Like,
I forgot how much of a fucking
I already have placements for
it's,
all of these names.
An Alien vs. Predator.
I know exactly what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get started, shall we?
All right, let's go.
Sun Tzu, that's Spider-Man here, is thought to have been born in the spring or autumn of 544 BC in the Chinese state of Qi. At some point, he became a general, and frankly, that's about all we know of his life. You see, the time that Sun Tzu was from was called the Warring States period in China, which was aptly named as there were several tribal states within China that were in a constant state of war. Every overthrow of the government, every raid on neighboring towns, the occasion was always marked by burning down the capital. Typically, this meant their libraries as well, where there would of course have been some sort of record on Sun Tzu had it ever existed. Shit was like this for 200 fucking years.
So we could just say a bunch of wild shit about what he did.
That's exactly what I'm about to do.
Okay.
So when he invented cocaine, no. So basically, what we have to go by today are records written at least 100 years or more after Sun Tzu's supposed death, making him the equivalent to the Chinese Homer. Whether or not he existed is totally up in the air. However, the things we're told about Homer's life are obviously made up, while the things in Sun Tzu's, although probably exaggerated, are things that could have really happened to somebody. So at the end of the day, honestly, we just don't know. But that doesn't mean there aren't at least a few stories about the guy. Now, King Hilu. Did you remove Heihachi's fucking hand?
Just put it down.
Okay.
There can be no visual gags
Fuck.
on a podcast, you fucking idiot.
His leg
What are you
fell
doing?
off. God damn it. I spent like $20 on that at Toys R Us 20
And I'm a
years
little
ago.
bit fucking offended. Like, you know I have ADD and you just put down a bunch of fucking action figures in the middle of the table and then told me to concentrate on something else. Like,
Yeah,
that was pretty
honestly-
fucking, like...
Honestly, please don't fuck with them. Those are all from my childhood. I really miss them.
Just put them away.
Now, King Hilu ruled the state of Wu, just south of where Sun Tzu was supposedly born. He had gotten his seat of power by assassinating his own uncle and had the same ambition to do what any other king in China wanted at the time, to take over the rest of the country. He planned to start by conquering the state immediately to the west of him, the state of Chu. But he was worried that Chu's territory was about 3 times the size of his own, especially if they had an army of equal size. So King Hilu looked for someone who was just as cutthroat and ruthless as he was to lead his army. One general he hired went by the name of Wu Zishu, a man whose father was a former advisor in the state of Chu, something that could prove invaluable in the king's pursuit to conquer the state. Not only that, but Wu Zishu was out for revenge. You see, his father was executed by the king of Chu in a mad attempt at stopping a conspiracy that wasn't even happening in the first place. When Wu Zishu fled the state, it's said the stress he endured on his escape turned his hair white, which coincidentally helped him pass by the guards that were looking for him as they were on the lookout for a much younger man. I imagine that's probably a rumor too, unless they're all really racist and they're just like, oh, I don't know, he looks like any of us, but his hair's white.
Jesus, Jordan.
Just saying.
Hey, is that one guy? No. I've heard he looks much better.
But King Hilu hired a second general as well, someone with a bit more experience than Wu Zishu, and supposedly someone who'd already had some renown on the battlefield. That man was Sun Tzu. Now, Sun Tzu had a reputation for being very strict when it came to training his men, and King Hilu wanted to see this in person. But Sun Tzu had a very specific rule when it came to his leadership as a general. Soldiers were to follow his exact orders, even if the king protested, because what Sun Tzu needs out of his men more than anything is loyalty to himself, not the king. I know that sounds weird, but I think the whole idea...
That would scare the shit out of me if I was the king.
Yeah, right? But I think the idea, and I did try to figure out, like, why would anyone go with this guy? If I understood this correctly, the king tells you, I want you to do this exact thing. And then if the king gets captured and tries to tell you, like, hey, no, don't do that, otherwise they'll kill me, then you're like, got to finish the job. And it's like, you can die with pride that way.
I mean, did he walk around? Did he walk around telling everybody that that's the way it went?
I mean, yeah, I guess that was the
because,
first
like,
thing.
if I was the king, I'd be like, hey, man, can I talk to you real quick? Like, if you want to run things like that, like, I can't do your job, so that's cool, but it's really embarrassing when you say that shit in front of a crowd of people. Oh, like, to me personally as the king.
Well, so...
Like...
So here's the thing. King Hilu agrees, and Sun Tzu says he's going to test this out. He's going to see how well this goes.
Very well. So Operation Make You Look Like a Bitch has begun.
He tells the king to bring out all of his concubines, 180 in all. And Sun Tzu splits them up and has the king pick out his 2 favorite girls to lead 2 platoons. So he picks his 2 favorites to act as captains to their own respective squad. And Sun Tzu gives his 2 captains an order to give to the rest of the troops. He says, face right. And of course, all the girls just giggle and shit. And Sun Tzu laughs too, and he's like, all right. I know this is kind of silly, but I'm your general now, so you gotta listen to me, okay? And so he reiterates his command. He says, face right. And again, all the girls giggle. So Sun Tzu turns to a couple guards and he says, all right, kill the captains. And King Hilu is like, well, hang on now. Just wait a fucking goddamn minute.
Hey, man, I told you those were my favorite women that I own.
Yeah, no, that's
not cool.
And Sun Tzu tells him, look, you said you were looking for someone who will get shit done even if the king says no, right? You gonna let these soldiers disrespect their commander? So the king just lets it happen. Sits down and the guards lop off the heads of his 2 favorite girls right in front of the others. But guess what?
The other girls giggled.
Oh my god. I'm into what you call dark humor.
Jesus fucking Christ.
But guess what though? Next time Sun Tzu says face right, they face right. That's a dude who gets shit done.
Nice job, man. Yeah, you really showed those women. Fucking really.
You really showed those women born into poverty and not given a lick of a chance.
Really showed those concubines who's the one who has an axe. You take that.
It's really funny, you know, everyone's like, how do you do so well as a preschool teacher? And it's like, well, I just bring in a Glock. And they all of a sudden they listen, you know. I just wave it around. I said quiet time. And they shut the fuck up. It's incredible.
God bless America.
God bless America. We need to arm our teachers.
Fucking Christ. Throw more guns at it, man. Like, anyway, we're going to go on a tangent there if we don't.
No, I just want to say, if a child on the playground is hitting kids with sticks, you don't just take the stick away. You give them all sticks, and then that way the problem is solved.
Give all the kids sticks.
Well, it was in the year 506 BC, when Sun Tzu would have been about 38, we think, that King Hilu finally attacks the neighboring state of Chu. The battle was headed by both Sun Tzu and Wu Zishu, who, coincidentally, would be facing off against a general named Shen Yin, who had already executed the guy that Wu Zishu was after, the guy who killed his dad. So you'd figure they would kind of be friends. But apparently after Wu Zishu's dad was executed and he was forced to flee the state, Shen Yin was like, this guy seems like he's not really going to stop killing officials. Let's go ahead and nip this one in the bud before it gets to me. But Wu Zishu didn't care if that one particular guy was dead, because he wasn't looking for revenge on a scale that small. He wanted the entire fucking state of Chu gone. Peasants, mothers, fathers, children, all of them
There's
gone.
a word for that.
Let's not go on another topical tangent here. This is a tough one. All right, now the
You think fucking Romance of the Seven Kingdoms would be like?
Look, man, when I played Dynasty Warriors on the PS2, it didn't deal with any of this, I don't think. I don't know. There wasn't really a story structure to it.
Hey, man, you play it on PS2, you've played it on every platform, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Played it once, you've played every Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah. Did they stop making them?
Sometimes I crave Dynasty Warriors still.
I know.
Like it's
Well, they started making them like Gundam ones and stuff like that, and it's like that sounds
looks
cool
pretty
as
sick.
shit.
That looks pretty sick.
Why did they stop though?
Well,
I mean, I guess it's kind of like FIFA. Yeah, it's like it's the same game every fucking. We don't need to do this, but
yeah.
they need to make them again on
I'm
the
pretty,
PS5.
I
dude,
highly doubt they stopped.
on next gen. That shit would be great.
Think about how many of them could be like rendered at once instead of phasing
Exactly,
it out of
all the
existence
blood
once
and
there's more
heads
than
just
40.
fucking all the limbs going. That'd be so cool.
The game's never gory either. It's
No,
cartoony.
you could turn the blood off and on, but I mean that was the thing on PS2. It was just like it was like a spritz of like pixels.
Mhm.
I'd still kill for it. I mean that seriously.
Oh no,
I'd fucking kill, man.
for Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, just make another one. Let's see. Now, the battle itself between Sun Tzu and Wu Zishu and Shen Yin, we don't really need to get into it, but in the end, King Hilu and the state of Wu had won, killing 10 times the amount of soldiers they came with, anywhere between 200,000 to 300,000 men, or so the victors would have you believe. Regardless, King Hilu's men stomped their way to the state capital of Ying, where they razed it to the ground, and the Chu general, Shen Yin, refused to die by enemy hands, so he had one of his men cut off his head and bring it home instead. Cool thing to... Oh, did he order me a cake? Nope.
Wait, so you escaped with his head? Yeah. So there was an escape way. Yeah.
Yep.
But he wanted the... He just... Look, man, just take the head. Okay, just like... Please.
I always thought the honor systems in old wars and battles and shit was so egregious. So stupid. It's so
goofy.
dumb.
I don't know.
I mean, it's cool. It's romantic, I guess, in a weird poetic sense, but god damn it.
I mean, yeah, this, shit like that, got written down. They did stuff like that, but I don't think things got followed quite as rigidly.
No, honestly, this dude probably was just like, I'm going to cut off this dude next to me's head. You deliver it somewhere and just say that was me. All right, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm opening up a franchise. I'm opening up a Quiznos in the next town over. All right, fuck this.
I'm going to go manage
Stupid.
a McDonald's franchise in the Midwest.
Why am I even fighting, dude? I don't get any of this shit. This is dumb. This is fucking stupid.
Also, just like raising an entire city
Yeah.
is like, cool. You burn down all the stuff.
Well, as far as Sun Tzu is concerned, it was this battle that made him famous, and it's what people cite as evidence of his military genius. But it wasn't this that would make his name synonymous with war. Around the year 1080 AD, about 1500 years since the time of Sun Tzu, Emperor Shenzong collected what he believed to be the definitive works when it came to warfare. He called them the 7 military classics and made them required reading for all of his officers. And while they're all recognized in their own right, there's one that's clearly held far above the rest. Sun Tzu's The Art of War. Quote, Sun Tzu said, "The art of war is of vital importance to the state. It is a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin. Hence, it is a subject of inquiry, which can on no account be neglected. The art of war, then, is governed by 5 constant factors to be taken into account in one's deliberations when seeking to determine the conditions obtaining in the field. These are 1. The moral law, 2. Heaven, 3. Earth, 4. The commander, 5. Method and discipline." He then goes on to explain each of these 5 conditions.
Okay, good, because that was really fucking confusing.
Yeah, right?
It's like, what? Like,
The moral law causes the people to be in complete accord with their ruler, so that they will follow him regardless of their lives, undismayed by any danger. Heaven signifies night and day, cold and heat, times and seasons. Weather, basically.
okay. I thought it was going to be like air superiority. But
Yeah, right. Praying. No.
Drones.
Drones. Earth comprises distances, great and small, danger and security, open ground and narrow passes, the chances of life and death, so geography. The commander stands for the virtues of wisdom, sincerely, benevolence, courage, and strictness. By method and discipline are to be understood the marshalling of the army in its proper subdivisions, the graduations of rank among the officers, the maintenance of roads by which the supplies may reach the army, and the control of military expenditure. These 5 heads should be familiar to every general. He who knows them will be victorious. He who knows them will not fail. Oh,
Why are you
Shit. He who
puzzled?
knows them not will fail. I was like, wait, so you can win either way? No. He who
knows
does
them
not know them will
okay.
fail. Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I have faith in the listeners to know what you meant to read there.
No.
Everybody, what? No.
Sun Tzu goes over each of these subjects one by one, and the way the art of war is spoken about today, you'd figure it's full of brilliant tactical plans and genius military advice, like the fucking Kama Sutra of military warfare. But honestly, when you read the art of war nowadays, it sounds so much like common fucking sense. Quote, ponder and deliberate before you make a move. Or, all armies prefer high ground to low and sunny places to dark. These small, obvious hints of advice compose the entirety of The Art of War's 13 chapters. And this is why there's such a meme around Sun Tzu quotes as well, where people make up sayings like, only when a mosquito lands on your balls will you understand the meaning of solving a problem without violence. Or, it's not a war crime if you win the war. So here's the thing. Everything in The Art of War is super obvious, but that's only because Sun Tzu wrote it down in the first place. You see, this far back in China, the guys who led armies into battle and the guys actually giving the orders were two different people. While there were men with actual military experience giving commands in the field, some rich guy's fucking son would be sitting up on a hill watching the battle from a mile away, and every once in a while his general would have to come up to him and say, okay, now what? So whenever whoever Sun Tzu may have really been, whether he was a higher up or a common soldier, he knew generals would hear terrible solutions from men who have never had to have actually swing a sword in their entire fucking life. And they just have to grin and bear it or risk losing their head. So who the art of war actually was for was not the generals in the field, but for the asshole up on the hill who kept his hands clean.
Just like, for the love of God, please read this.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah. So when you read the book nowadays, it's like, consider fire or try to lie. You know, it's actually an instruction manual for the dumbass who's going to be responsible for hundreds of deaths one way or another. In fact, a chunk of the book is dedicated to keeping your soldiers fed. Like, the royals have horses, but you know they've never had to fucking feed one before. They have no idea how many times a day and how much food a horse needs, much less their own soldiers. Before the art of war was widely put into circulation, no shit, the royalty up on the hill used to figure the soldiers would just scavenge for mushrooms and grass if they got hungry. Like they're fucking cattle. So whenever
just put stuff in your mouth.
Well, I've gone to a samurai museum in Japan, and it was like, this armor is fucking tiny. And the person's like, yeah, the age of most soldiers was 14. And they were they were very underfed, dude. They didn't really get to eat.
Jesus,
the
man.
reason that they were so into warfare was because it meant that they got to grab rice, you know, when they ran over somebody's farm or something. Of course they had basic supplies though out on the field, but these guys were the dudes up on the hill were always just yeah, they don't need protein. Sun Tzu actually put a lot of emphasis on the supply lines because of this. Keep our supplies safe and dry. Attack their supply line. Sun Tzu, the entire reason for this book was looking out for
you see, you destroyed our supply line again. So the difference being there, that affects us negatively.
Yeah, no, the entire book is about watching out for the troops. In fact, he even says, hey, if those guys are retreating, don't attack them. Because he knows these are dudes who don't want to fucking be there. He knows they're being forced into this shit.
Let him go, dude.
Yeah.
You want it. Why would you risk getting killed now?
Is that the supply line? No, those are women and
No,
children.
it's not the supply line.
Those are children. Please don't. No,
There's a box of kittens, man.
What are you doing? I'm drowning their supply line in a river. No, God, fuck. Throughout the art of war, there are a lot of weird little tidbits that sound out of place when you're talking about killing people. For instance, quote, there are not more than 5 musical notes, yet the combinations of these 5 give rise to more melodies than can ever be heard. There are not more than 5 primary colors, blue, yellow, red, white, and black, yet in combination they produce more hues than can ever be seen. There are not more than 5 cardinal tastes, sour, acrid, salt, sweet, bitter. Yet combinations of them yield more flavors that can ever be tasted. But this is, of course, all an allegory. The point Sun Tzu is getting at is to say, in battle, there are not more than two methods of attack, the direct and the indirect, yet these two in combination give rise to an endless series of maneuvers. He is talking to his subject.
Little murder subgenres, if you will.
Yeah, he's talking to his audience as if they're children, because they kind of are, and he's telling them it's okay to spice things up. Now, as far as those who believe Sun Tzu never existed, they like to think the art of war was probably amassed by several different authors like the Iliad or the Odyssey were. Just someone took several works and bound it all in one volume, and then it later got attributed to one guy that they named Sun Tzu. However, there is a problem with this theory. Nowhere else do these writings come up. We have evidence of things written in the Odyssey being used in other legends and songs far before they ever got attributed to Homer. But when it comes to the art of war, there's actually nothing. Now, it could be that the older texts just got burned somewhere along the way, but right now, all evidence we have leads to the book having been composed by just one guy. The idea that Sun Tzu never existed started all the way back in the 12th century by some Chinese scholars who noticed that nowhere in this extremely long book of history was he ever mentioned. The Zhao Duan supposedly covers the entire history of China from 722 BC to 468 BC.
Who wrote it?
Some dudes.
Some dudes?
Homer. I don't know.
Oh, shit.
But it describes commanders and battles throughout the entire thing, including the ones Sun Tzu was credited with winning, but he's never mentioned. It has been suggested that Sun Tzu has been Wu Zishu this entire time, the guy he worked with, and over time people just split his personality into two separate entities. Or maybe Sun Tzu was someone that just wasn't all that important at the time, and then he got credited with stuff later on, but we'll probably really never know for sure. But if Sun Tzu did exist, we know what happened to him after he published The Art of War. From our best guesses, he died sometime in 496 BC, when he would have been around the age of only 48. However, there is an interesting bit of evidence that he really lived. There was a guy who claimed to be his son.
Wait, I can just claim to be someone's son?
I wish it was that fucking easy nowadays.
Yeah, right? That'd be
Yeah.
sick, dude.
Whose son would you be?
It doesn't matter. I just
Yeah,
want
and
I just
anyone
want people
else.
to think
I just
I
want
have
a
a
dad.
father.
Yeah. Oh god, no, that was mine because it was easy to reach. All right, fine, that's mine then. Grab the other coaster. Can you grab me a coaster?
Dude, I can't. The headphones is too small, man.
No, we have plenty of records on this guy, so we know for sure he was real. But of course, there's always a difference between someone who is Sun Tzu's kid and someone claiming to be Sun Tzu's kid. But either way, Sun Bin was said to have been a brilliant strategist at an early age, able to recite his supposed father's work from memory. Now, he was always meant to be a general. He took classes under the tutelage of a great warrior, but he did share the class with a bunch of other kids born from nepotism. His best friend growing up was a kid named Peng Wan. Now, Peng Wan, at least in the Anglican spelling, is Peng, P-A-N-G.
Mm-hmm.
Last name, Wan, J-U-A-N, which I figured would probably be Zhuan or something. But when I looked up, how do you pronounce Peng Zhuan?
It was Juan.
Yeah, but it came from like an AI.
Okay.
And so
yeah,
I think that it probably took the Spanish spelling of Juan and was just like, yeah, it's Peng Juan.
At least it didn't say penguin, dude. Like,
So I'm going to keep calling him Peng Juan, and I am
this is
sorry.
what Jordan's doing his fucking
I
best.
fucking did my
He's
best.
doing his diddly damnedest over here trying to
I
pronounce this
fucking
shit.
put a bunch of labels on these action figures that Caleb won't even play with after I cooked him Dino Nuggies.
I think, okay, look, I appreciate your effort. One, no one can see the visual gag.
I know, but still.
I get that.
It was for you.
And
it wasn't for them, baby. It was
Two,
for you.
I very much fucking meant what I said, where I'm like, this is going to be distracting. Like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna have
I know.
a hard time.
I know.
Like, you know,
that was also my worry, but I was like, yeah, but it's a short episode.
like I like Warhammer. You don't think I'm gonna be fixated upon these dollies, man? Like,
I'm gonna turn around and all of a sudden you're fucking repainting them. I'm gonna be like, no, what are you doing?
like
no,
some of them, like little parts of their body, like detach and go back. I'm gonna be inspecting all that for. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good for the production of this episode, man.
Yeah,
like,
for the glory of the king, of course.
I appreciate the effort. Not a good idea. They're covered now. Let's move along.
So Sun Tzu's kid, Sun Bin, his best friend growing up was a kid named, I think, Peng Wan. And as well as they got along, Sun Bin was said to have always been a better student, which irked the shit out of Peng Wan. Knowing he wouldn't be able to get a job as a top general as long as Sun Bin was around, Peng Wan left his entire home state of Wu and eventually got a job as a general in the neighboring state of Wei. Much later on, after Peng Wan earned his renown as a great warrior, he invited his old buddy Sun Bin to take up a position much like his own. So Sun Bin shows up, and Peng Wan figures, he'll be his mentor for a couple years, and maybe, someday, he can be as great as him. But pretty quick, Sun Bin is found to be a much more competent leader than Peng Wan, and his bosses see him as much more of an asset than Peng Wan could ever be. Have you actually dealt with that, where you're like training somebody and it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, this is it's actually retaining this a lot fucking better than I thought?
Oh, all the time. All the time.
Yeah, I've always been number one, so I've never dealt with that before, but that's crazy.
You're just like, oh, okay, cool. That took me 4 years. God damn it.
Yeah,
All right.
actually,
Cool.
Yeah.
Like,
actually, you were my trainer changing oil. Yeah, my first day on the job, I was to shadow you. Do you remember that?
yeah, that's funny, man.
Yeah, no, in the first car that I get under, the fan is going and everything, and our boss farts in front of the car so it blows in our faces.
You gotta stop referencing Jiffy Lube.
No. Also, it wasn't Jiffy Lube.
Fucking whatever.
You worked at more than one,
It
you
doesn't even
loser.
exist anymore. Yeah. No.
It doesn't exist.
Once again, I seem to. There's a reoccurring theme that keeps happening in between the both of us in our lives. Where yes, and I did work for several of these oil change places. Were you working at the fucking time, Jordan?
As what? Jiffy Lube?
As anything?
What the fuck does that even mean?
Like, did you have a job
Before?
Yeah.
What do you... It feels like that came off smoother in your head or something. Did I have a job before? Yeah.
Let me have this.
Okay, yeah.
Just let me have it.
My first job was at Dollar Tree at 16.
I need a win. I need a win, Jordan. Okay. If
You know what?
If you're a real friend, you'll just let it go.
Caleb, you've had so many more jobs than I have.
Thank you.
And that's something to be proud of.
Thanks. I don't even get escape in my sleep.
Neither do I, dude. I have recurring dreams. This is why it comes back to me. I always have a dream where I'm coming back to Oil Can Henry's because me leaving just didn't work out. I fucking hate it.
I dream about work in my sleep and I wake up really mad.
Yeah, because I feel like I should have been on the fucking clock.
Like
I'm
every
already
day.
tired, I hate it.
Like, yeah.
So anyway,
It's a stressful episode, man.
I know,
We're really
and it's only
getting it out
7
this
pages.
episode.
Yeah.
Like,
So Sun Bin shows up hanging out in the state of Wei, I think, with Peng Wan, right? And Peng Wan invites Sun Bin over, and he's like, I'll show you the ropes. But Sun Bin starts to get more renown than he does. And, they're old friends, so to knock him down a peg, Peng Wan decides to play a little practical joke on Sun Bin to knock him off his high horse, a little hazing ritual, if you will. He tells the king Sun Bin is a traitor and he should be put to death. But you see,
the classic.
But you see, this is just the setup to the joke. As Peng Wan stood in front of the king's men and spoke on Sun Bin's behalf, begging the king for mercy, Peng Wan is just there like, no, please don't kill him. So the king reaches a middle ground with Peng Wan's support, and he hits a middle ground, and he has Sun Bin's fucking kneecaps removed.
It's a good joke.
It's pretty funny. As it turns out, Sun Bin is not his original name. I think it used to be Cheng King or something, but Bin is some sort of reference to kneecaps, and this is what he's forever going to be known by.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, Peng Wan loved to boast. He's the kind of guy that needs an audience. So after Sun Bin gets tortured, Peng Wan tells his servants all about what he's done. And even though these guys have like a sworn oath to Peng Wan, they're still like, damn, dude, that is fucked up. and they tell Sun Bin about what he'd done as soon as they can. Now, at the time, Peng Wan was acting like the good friend who saved his life. You know, he stood up for him, made sure his life wasn't over. And he was coming over regularly to make sure Sun Bin was doing okay, looking like Hank Hill's dad, you know, and saying like, hey, I know this means, you know, you can't be out. Sorry, that was funny when I wrote it.
You're just going to skim it now? Look, everybody loves Cotton Hill, man. I don't think it had any context.
Yeah, his fucking kneecaps are gone. So Peng Wan comes over. He says, hey, I know this means you can't be out in the field anymore, but what if you wrote down all your military tactics so I could use them? And you'll totally get credit, of course.
Dude, Penguin sucks.
The Penguin is fucking awful. So when Sun Bin finds out Peng Wan... God damn it. Now I see why you said it. Jesus. I'm just saying penguin weird.
Yeah.
Peng Wan. Ah, shit. So when Sun Bin finds out Peng Wan was the one who almost had him put to death, his whole plan gets exposed. He knows as soon as he's finished writing down his strategies for the battlefield, Peng Wan is going to put him to death. However, Sun Bin was a brilliant strategist both on and off the field, so he devises a plan. Now he knows he won't be able to hobble across state lines, but there were some officials visiting from the state of Qi, where his dad Sun Tzu was born, that he figured he might be able to escape with. So Sun Bin makes a secret deal with these guys, saying he's the son of the legendary Sun Tzu, and if they manage to get him out of Wei, he's theirs. Now, here's the thing. To me, that sounds like if he's not Sun Tzu's actual kid, that's exactly where this rumor came from, is him telling some officials like, hey guys, here's Sun Tzu. Yep, real guy. Anyway, I'm his kid. Help, you know. Like,
help, please.
Like, that seems to me the exact moment where that rumor may have come from, if it's not true. To me, at least. I don't know.
All right, makes sense.
Yeah, problem is, there are a ton of eyes on Sun Bin already. I mean, Peng Wan knew even with his fucking kneecaps removed, he was still a major flight risk, and he's smart enough that he may get away with it too. So as the days go by, Sun Bin sits with Peng Wan, going over military strategies with him, right? But as he does so, Sun Bin starts feigning fits of insanity. Maybe he's like chalking it up to torture trauma, or he's got an infection and he's going mad from a fever. No idea. But Peng Wan, he's not buying it. But he still plays along. He takes Sun Bin to a pig pen and he says, all right, crazy pants, here's your palace. And you got to remember, all these dudes are royalty. They don't even walk on the same side of the road as livestock. So Peng Wan figures as soon as Sun Bin like steps inside, he's going to be like, all right, fine, it was all an act. But Sun Bin goes nuts. He fucking loves his new home. He even gets down on his stomach and starts eating pig shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, written down in recorded history.
You think I won't sell it? You think I'm not committed to this?
And Peng Wan goes, oh, fuck, he really is crazy. And he has all his surveillance fucking dropped.
Give me that piglet. I'll twist it out straight into my throat.
No, I'm not sure exactly.
So, big grown man eating pig shit.
Yeah. And Peng Wan is just like, oh, okay. All right. No need to watch this guy. I can have you guys do something fucking else, but not watching this guy, this does not seem like a priority. He seems happy.
I mean, look, the guy's really a manipulative, shitty liar, so it's going to be pretty fucking hard to, like, one-up him and convince him of anything. So, yeah, it took eating pig shit to do that.
I would do it if it meant saving my life.
Yeah. Like, he got there. Like, it's like, well,
yeah. Now, I'm not sure exactly how the officials from Qi got him out of there, but it apparently worked. Sun Bin was successfully smuggled out of Wei and newly installed as a general. So Sun Bin's reputation precedes him, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, he is supposedly the son of the great military general Sun Tzu. So he finds himself in the care of a Qi general named Tianji. And Tianji starts taking Sun Bin to the horse races, which he fucking loves. But Sun Bin, probably bored, finds himself applying the same military rhetoric he uses in the field on the horses, noting which ones look battle-ready, which one seems like he'll get a great start but lose energy later on, etc. And he tells Tianji which horse to bet on. So they stay for 3 races, and for 2 out of the 3, Sun Bin is correct. And Tianji is super fucking impressed. He tells the king Sun Bin can determine a battle just by looking at it, which I would be fucking terrified about if he's just like, yeah, just like, let him look at shit and he's a fucking seer. I'd be like, no, hang on, whoa. So the king, knowing of both Sun Bin's reputation as well as his father's, offers him a role as a general in the Qi army. But Sun Bin declines. And this isn't an exact quote, but he pretty much says the equivalent of, do you know how fucking stupid I would look riding a horse out there with no fucking knees? like his legs are just going to be flopping around like sweater sleeves or something.
Strap him down, man. Fuck. Just do something like.
So instead, Sun Bin becomes Tianji's deputy officer. In 354 BC, the state of Wei, from which Sun Bin escaped, attacked an ally.
Sun Bin, I understand what you're saying here, but I don't know if there's a lot of ways we can make you look not goofy now. I'm sorry. Like,
I ain't taking this. He just throws his legs over his shoulder like a fucking scarf. I'm out of here. Wheels on out. In 354 BC, the state of Wei, from which Sun Bin escaped, attacked an ally of Qi. So when those allies asked the king of Qi to help, he deployed his army along with Tianji and Sun Bin. Taking a page from his father's book, Sun Bin told Tianji to attack the outskirts of Wei far away from where they were attacking their allies. The plan worked, and when the Wei forces turned their attention away from where they were, the allies reinforced their borders and subverted any further attempts at a takeover. About 10 years later, the Wei army would make another attempt at a different state, but again, allies to the state of Qi. At this point, though, Sun Bin was now the general of the Qi army, and Tianji was his deputy. And this would be perfect because the Wei general making the attack on their allies was none other than Peng Wan, the guy that stole his fucking kneecaps. Using his own strategies this time, Sun Bin took troops deep into enemy territory and purposely lost his battles over and over again, so Peng Wan would get cocky and sloppy. Sloppy cocky. You know, that kind of fucking sucks, though, to like, I'm going to purposely lose this battle. Cool. How many guys will that kill?
The long run, though.
Yeah, the long run.
We got a greater good scenario here.
Yeah.
Let him get penisy.
So, I mean, he lets fucking Peng Wan get all cocky with his wins. But, I mean, of course that would work. I mean, this guy has been second fiddle to Sun Bin his whole life. But now he's proving that he's the better general. Well, as it turns out, Sun Bin was leading Peng Wan's forces directly into a narrow valley, knowing he would do the dishonorable thing and attempt to kill retreating forces. Ahead of their arrival, and knowing they'd be showing up at night, Sun Bin had the bark removed from a tree at the end of this narrow valley and carved large words into its trunk. When the Wei army finally arrived, Peng Wan, seeing absolutely no threat, saw this skin tree at the end of the valley and lit a torch to read what it had to say. It read, "Peng Wan died under this tree." Those were the last words he would ever read, as the torch he lit worked as a target, showing his men's position in the dark, and the arrows rained down on his entire army. Yet Peng Wan didn't die. He was dying, sure, but he was likely alive long enough to see all of his guys getting wiped out with the army advancing on his position before deciding to take his own life. After this, Sun Bin retired, saw that as a pretty damn fitting end to his career. He soon wrote a work of his own military strategies called The Art of War, just like his father's, and got political and military protection for the rest of his life. Died a hermit in 316 BC. No idea where he's buried or if he even had a family, but today Sun Bin and Peng Wan are often paired together as gods, protecting the doors to Taoist temples. Tianji, by the way, is nowadays remembered for his game theory concerning horse races, which is kind of fitting. Now, Sun Bin's version of The Art of War is actually part military strategy and part autobiography, as it leads you through his thought process in selecting the best soldiers for the job and formations used during his war against Peng Yuan. Now, but again, because of the constant state of war that China was in, Sun Bin's art of war was soon lost, only being referenced in other works until it was found over 1,000 years later. On April 10th, 1972, construction workers in Linyi City, China, accidentally unearthed the ancient tombs of two people from the Han Dynasty, which is from like 202 BC to 220 AD, so about 100 years after Sun Bin's death. As far as we know, we don't know who these guys were, but whoever they were, they seem to have been buried with full military honors. Within their tombs were 4,942 strips of bamboo, upon which were the entirety of both Sun Tzu's and Sun Bin's art of war. Sun Bin's work was no longer lost. What's interesting, though, is that for Sun Tzu's work, these bamboo strips did have the 13 chapters we know today, but there were an additional 5 chapters we knew nothing about. Unfortunately, more than a third of the strips have been heavily damaged by time, and they simply can't be read. I'm not sure it's a tremendous loss, though. Some of the earliest versions of Sun Tzu's Art of War that we have has editor notes like, yeah, these other chapters were just kind of whatever, so I left them out. And we have no idea what the fuck they were.
That's subjective, you bitch.
I know.
Like,
They could have
maybe I would have liked to read it.
They were either like autobiographical or like probably religious, but it's just like, yeah, just, I don't know. It was a recipe, I guess, so I just kind of left it out. Like, I don't know, but it's fucking wild to have 5 chapters just gone. Something else I thought was kind of neat was that we can tell whoever wrote down Sun Tzu's Art of War and Sun Bin's Art of War on these strips of bamboo were 2 different people, and it's not likely, but it's possible that these bamboo strips are older than the guys that got buried with them. And maybe, just maybe, they were written by their original authors. Probably not, but it's fun speculation. Anyway, Sun Tzu's legacy was so large after his death that Shi Huangqi, the first emperor to unify China out of the Warring States period in 221 BC, said the art of war was a huge reason he was able to succeed in the first place. Shit, Mao Zedong gave credit to the book as the reason he rose to power. In the year 760 AD, the art of war made its way to Japan, where famous warlords like Oda Nobunaga used it to take over most of Japan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That guy?
Are you? I don't know if you're serious or not, because that is a Dynasty Warriors thing.
No, that's really impressive.
It is. Also, Onimusha. He was the bad guy in Onimusha. I don't know if you played that, but it was a really good Capcom.
I didn't play any of the Dynasty Warriors spin-offs that involved Japan.
Well, I mean, it's...
Because that's weeb shit.
No. You're right, my bad. Well, Onimusha was a really good survival horror game set in samurai times by Capcom, the same guys that did Resident Evil. It's really good.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, he's the main villain.
Eat shit, weeb.
Man, you do fucking 40K. Fuck you.
Yeah.
It was read by samurai and shogun alike.
Ain't no anime tropes in 40K, buddy.
There probably are, and you just don't recognize them
Only
yet.
violence.
Hey, man, you remember when we watched The Hobbit together, and I was like, man, these animations look similar, and then I looked it up, and it was like, oh, because this is the same studio that Hayao Miyazaki eventually used. You've been watching anime for years, and
It wasn't anime before they bought it. Okay.
You thought they just weren't Japanese.
Oh,
before
excuse
they
me. You
bought
thought
it?
you thought I was watching The Hobbit and original animated Lord of the Rings and being like, wow, these are good pieces. No. Like, hey, you want to watch this goofy shit I used to get stoned in the 9th grade and like to do? Like,
Yeah, you got stoned and watched anime. I don't know what to tell you, man.
it's not anime.
It's made by Japanese people. It is. That's what I mean. Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
It's the same studio that Hayao Miyazaki eventually grabbed
Yeah,
up.
he grabbed the studio. That doesn't mean
From
that
what,
it was
New
a
Zealand?
He could grab it from fucking anywhere. Why do you assume that they had to be Japanese
Oh,
in order for him to buy
I
them?
assumed because when I looked it up, they said a Japanese studio. You dumb fuck.
I don't think you did. I don't fucking believe you.
Anything to neglect the fact that you're a weeaboo at heart.
Not a fucking weeb. Hentai isn't anime, Jordan.
So The Art of War was read by samurai and shogun alike, and was even used by Japanese officers during World War II. Colin Powell.
Oh, good.
Colin Powell even said he used it during the Gulf War. Kind of believe it. But honestly, people like him probably just say shit like that because they think it sounds cool. Because as we already discussed,
Makes them sound learned.
yeah, well, everything Sun Tzu has to say is like Warfare 101. These are probably the same people who say they got their politics from Atlas Shrugged without really cracking it open.
I kind of feel like the entire thing is just like a guide for, just being a fucking soldier for people that have no experience in warfare. So it's really not good when you're in charge to be like, oh, hey, no, don't worry, I fucking read this. So it's like, no, you just stated that you had no fucking idea what was going on.
Yeah, no, you kind of just stated, oh shit, I need to feed people. It's fucking stupid. You remember that though? Like fucking Paul Ryan said he ran his organizations based on objectivism, and then like someone challenged him to actually read Atlas Shrugged.
Who's fucking Paul Ryan?
He was the dude who ran behind Mitt Romney. He was the VP for that campaign. Okay. And then after he read Atlas Shrugged, he was like, actually, objectivism isn't all that cool. So like, I don't believe Colin Powell when he says it. I'm much more inclined to believe all the businessmen on Wall Street that say that they've used the book when doing acquisitions and shit, though. Like, that kind of makes sense. I do believe that.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't fucking read it, so like.
No, I mean, just the like, I don't know, high ground, low ground, night, day, that kind of shit. Like, it's something that you wouldn't need to necessarily take into account when you're doing business. But if you use it almost as a metaphor for certain things, then it's like, I could kind of see how some people get better ideas when doing that kind of shit.
So what I'm hearing right now is that you and me need to read Art of War and invest in Bitcoin.
Trump's got his own NFTs, I hear. We can invest in those.
Well, we can, or we can read The Art of War and then make our decision, Jordan. That's what I'm alluding to right now.
We could read The Art of the Deal. Dude, the guy who ghost wrote Art of, what is that? It is called Art of the Deal, right? Is that what it's called?
Art of the Deal, yes.
Yeah. The guy who ghost wrote that is like so fucking mad that he ever did it. He was like, dude, I didn't know he'd become a fucking monster. I didn't know. He was like, this guy actually believes he wrote this too. Like, what a fucking.
I didn't know he'd become a monster. He was just like an absolute shithead billionaire. Like, what the fuck? What? This was used for ill-begotten gains?
His dad was an actual Nazi during wartime. Yeah, I never thought that was going to come back to bite me in the ass.
What? Anyway, I'll just be over here still getting royalties, but
good for him, really. Yet whenever one of these guys say that they've used the Art of War to win a battle, they always get criticized by Taoists that have since adopted the book as not warfare, but philosophy, which honestly, there is a bit of Taoism in the Art of War. But frankly, most of that is what probably got tossed out over time. That's probably what those chapters were that got thrown away. It's really easy to yada, yada, yada over
those last two chapters were just hippie shit, guys. Trust me.
Really. It's easy to like just go over the Taoism and get to the parts that teach you how to fucking kill, But these Taoist principles are actually very important to Sun Tzu's strategy as a whole, as he was, again, writing with his fellow soldier in mind, and not the king. By the end of the book, Sun Tzu says the only real goal in every war is to be able to win it without fighting at all, to use spies to gain leverage so no loss of human life is ever needed. He says that when you catch an enemy soldier, don't torture him, but treat him with kindness and respect, and maybe he will be a more valuable ally than any you could have possibly imagined. Now, although we can't say whether or not Sun Tzu really existed, we know the work likely came from one man, and whoever that person was, they're as good as a Sun Tzu as there ever was. The Chinese, of course, love to say he's definitely real, and he's been heralded as a national hero ever since the turn of the millennium. But what we can say in all certainty is that for any cool battle in any game, movie, or TV show, as well as the ones we unfortunately deal with in real life, a lot of it can be thanked due to Sun Tzu's Art of War. My sources today: The Art of War by Sun Tzu, translated by Lionel Giles, the Internet Classics Archive, classics.mit.edu, The Art of War by Sun Tzu, translated by Thomas Clearly, Shambhala Publications, Inc., 2005, Sun Tzu, The Art of War by Biographics, YouTube.com, and Wikipedia. You ever try to play Romance of the Three Kingdoms? It was like
That's like the first Dynasty Warriors, right?
it was like an offshoot or something, but it was like a tactics game. The game sucked ass. It was fucking stupid.
Yeah, I heard it was bad.
It was bad.
I probably tried to play it at some point.
It sucked.
And it was ass.
It was ass.
I was like, this is bullshit. Give me total war.
I'm not fucking killing anybody out here. It's stupid.
God, you can't even watch the little guys fight. How am I supposed to feel powerful?
Speaking of which, you
Just
actually
numbers and
beat
shit
Front
for a
Mission,
nerd.
right?
Actually beat what?
No, not Front Mission.
Front
what is it?
Mission?
No, Front Mission is a really good tactical robot game, but
Really?
yeah, it's
Anyway.
really. But they never continued with them.
Right.
No, what am I thinking of? The FromSoft one,
Oh.
Armored Core.
Oh, Amit Core?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
That was
fucking
a
love
fucking
Armored
good
Core.
shit,
It's a good game.
Yeah, it's good shit.
I beat the shit out of Armored Core, dude.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, but you took the easy route. That's cool.
No, I did every single ending and then got the unlocked forbidden ending.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
Mhm.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I
Sun
feel,
Tzu would be
I feel a
proud.
lot better. My girlfriend was much more attracted to me afterwards. My finances were stabilized.
She was also a lot less mad at me once I finally put down the game controller.
I got promoted at work. Yeah, it was a really good time investment for me to master the combat mechanics of Armored Core 6 for sure.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. But yeah, you're gonna edit out a lot of stuff.
Oh, so much, man.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
like, look at this, an hour 16, no
Yeah,
fucking
no, this
way.
is gonna be down to like 40,
Yeah.
like for sure.
Yeah.
So you're probably
Boy,
gonna.
did we tangent.
At one point, we did go over the lack of releasing shit, of
Oh, yeah.
producing any like content, and that'll probably be edited out. So let's go over
Because it was in
again.
the middle of a tangent. Yeah,
Middle
yeah.
of a
No,
really
yeah.
dumb fucking tangent. Jordan said the N word like 6 times.
I can't stop.
Please,
I really,
I've
really
known you
like
for
it.
10
don't
years.
know.
I know it's a problem for you.
I've been with
and-
you, holding your hand through several jobs, and you just won't
Just
stop.
won't stop. No, please. I got you in here in my reference. Don't do it again.
I'm just saying, it's just a word. I don't.
It
Also
means
getting cut.
ignorant. Have you ever met a white trash motherfucker that said that to you?
What that really says is just a word.
Yeah, that it's just a
No,
word and then
I-
it just means ignorant.
luckily, 'cause
It's,
I
it's
just-
like
I feel like my rage would boil over, and I probably would just pop.
no.
in my mouth. Like, I
That's
don't
the
know.
no, you won't. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You don't really have to worry about it. You're like this
Hey,
is
the
like,
whole reason I know
like-
what Twisted Tea is
You're
is
right.
from that video
Like,
of the
it's
white guy that wouldn't stop saying it.
It's like
And he had a chance. He could have stopped.
yeah. But anyway, we haven't been putting shit out. We've both been going through it. And yeah, thanks for hanging in there.
I'm really hoping we can actually get one more episode out before.
I don't see why not.
Well, I go on vacation in like 2 weeks. It's kind of less of. I mean, it's a vacation, but it's less of a vacation. I got to deal with some shit across the world. You know, going through my harems, just beheading girls.
Oh, that was really. You like noticed it was a flex and then tried to deflect the flex with humor.
Yeah, with killing women.
That was like
Also getting
Jesus,
cut.
Jordan. Like get the shit together. But
Anyway, yeah, gotta go deal with some shit in a couple of weeks. Gonna be away, but you know, it's not as we've said in between seasons, because a season is supposed to be 10 people each, like 10 authors each. It's fucking. We're not taking the month-long breaks anyway. If there's a break, you just gotta deal with it. But we're here.
we're sorry.
I'm sorry.
We're sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. But hey, we should say thanks for supporting us and for being cool. And hopefully,
Yeah,
more
really.
episodes are gonna
If you're
be-
listening to this,
Yeah.
I'm a pretty cool guy.
pretty cool guy,
Pretty cool.
pretty neat dude.
You know what?
You know what?
Hey, show it to me one more time.
My penis.
No, not you. I'm talking to them.